Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome back, everyone, to Western, Northeast, South Dakota. You're here, of course, for the Massenomics podcast. We're the lifting podcast about nothing. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
This is 257, like I just said. We are at the countdown, the party clock to episode 260. The 5-year anniversary has officially ticked down another episode. We just have 3 more to go. And boy, is there big things coming for 260.
There is. We don't throw those words around lightly either.
No, we only say that when there's big things, really big things coming. Now that I've teased you on that, let me tease you on something else. Our sponsors for today's episode. Today's show is brought to you by Texas Power Bars. In 1980, Buddy Cap set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling, and it was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, and world powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more, visit TexasPowerBars.com. Today's show is also brought to you by SPUD Inc. The goal of Spudding Straps is to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when everything is on the line. Check them out online at spud-ink-straps.com. Today's show is also brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large has set a new standard for customer service within the strength world. They have live website chat support and speedy email responses. Lifting Large is home to the Ground Lock Deadlift Slipper, and they're always in stock and ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products by using discount code MASS20 at checkout. And today's episode is brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method, your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching. Massenomics supporter and fan, Big Matt. He's an international supporter. He is coached by Hybrid Performance Method, and he's just been making great gains, just like PRs on all of his lifts almost all the time, it looks like.
I think they say the proof's in the pudding, Tanner.
That's exactly right. And you know what he did? He used our discount code, MASS, M-A-S-S, and he saved himself 5% off of his training. I don't know if he does nutrition memberships from them or not. I know he does training, but you could use it for either one, and that's MASS 5% at hybridperformancemethod.com. Be like Matt.
Be like Matt.
And that's our sponsors for today's show.
Sweet. Tanner, a year ago today, well, not today, but about right now-ish, within a couple days,
give or take,
we were getting ready to set out on our voyage across the country to the Arnold.
Yeah.
Yeah, how the times change, huh?
Yeah. It's like Bob Dylan said, the times they are a-changing.
And then I think about a week after that, we were pretty fired up. 2 weeks after that, we were also fired up. A month out, we were kind of healing our wounds, but we're like, the next year, Arnold is going to be so awesome. There's no way there won't be an Arnold next year. And here we are, Tanner.
And here we are, still Arnoldless. How about this? In the way back machine 4 years ago from today, I know because someone from the trip sent me the Snapchat story memory today. Ross sent me that we did leave 4 years ago today for our first Arnold ever. Man. And it was he had some snaps of us getting there, and remember we met Dan Green really shortly after walking in.
Walked in the door right away.
It was like, hey, there's Dan Green. We have to talk to him.
Oh, that was such a wild time. The first one. Yeah. That was like taking it all in. Like we had no clue what we were doing. Like, we're gonna try and take pictures and ask people some questions.
Yeah. Yes.
And it wasn't even like a formal plan. It was just like, all right, we have this thing to talk to people. Tyler's got some microphones. Let's just do this. Like, I don't think there was any more planning than that went into it than just that.
Luckily for us, it turned out.
It did.
Good.
Like that was like that really was just like a run and gun interview on the spot situation.
Well, the whole weekend really was very run and gun. That's a good way to describe it too, because we were literally just running around like, oh, there's Kaz. Run over there.
And then all of a sudden we like split up into groups and I talked to this guy and this guy. I saw this guy. Like, it was a It was like this wild free for all. It felt like
It was.
a lot of fun though, because it felt like anything was possible.
Oh,
at that
we were
time.
just so young and carefree.
We were though, weren't we? It's like, also, we were just dying at the end of every day because we were so tired.
All the walking and but now, I mean, if we ever are able to go back, it of course won't be like that anymore. We'll be having a booth
Strictly
again.
businessmen.
Yeah, we're businessmen now. We have lift shorts to sell. We didn't have lift shorts then.
we won't
We
go
were
anywhere
poor.
without a credit card terminal, right?
That's right. But hopefully someday we'll get to do that again. What do they say now? Do we even know if there's going to be one later?
I don't know.
If there's one it's still weird. I don't understand. If there's one this fall, then do they turn around and have a 2022 one like 4 months later after that? And if they do have one later this year, what's it really going to be like?
Yeah.
Will we ever get our money back?
I mean, most importantly, I want that money
Because
It's
I'm
my
pretty
money
sure
and
they
I want it
still
now.
owe us like $2,600 or something like that. I mean, owe us, or maybe
They're holding our money.
Yes. But then there's always a thing that if they do have it, but it sucks and we don't really want to go, but they say, no,
Now or never.
yeah, use it or don't use it or lose it.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see what the future holds,
Yes.
Tanner.
Only time will tell.
Only time will tell.
So we did have something else big go on. People have seen it, I guess, by the time this is out. So we're not spoiling us.
Yeah, we are not spoiling anything. But
Sometimes that timing thing is weird in my head. Like, wait, are we
Yeah.
breaking a surprise? And it's like, oh no, you've known about this for a week now.
but the road to 300 has finally come to fruition.
Yes, we hit 300. I don't know, maybe like a month ago or whatever. Has it even been longer than that?
Maybe I don't. I was
really
going to say,
came
hasn't even
fast.
been that long.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. It really came fast when we.
I've lost all perspective of
because
time.
I think as
Tanner.
of today we're at like 312 reviews.
Are we?
So it really did come fast when it got here. And of course, like we had said, we had something big planned. We didn't have it released exactly when we hit 300, but it has been released now.
Yes, and that is the new and improved billboard.
Yes. Billboard 2.0.
And it's good. Like,
It is good.
I mean, we like to toot our own horns a little bit, Tanner, but
That's true.
I think it's really
You know,
well done.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I think it's really well done.
It is.
I'm looking at a picture of us standing under it that we took today, all excited
I think we want
during noon traffic when just hundreds of vehicles were flying by us.
It
probably
was
like,
busy and
what
people
are
were
these
like-
morons doing?
it's like
standing in front
and
of a
then it's
billboard.
like, are those morons the same morons that are on the billboard? And it's like, yes, they are. They really are morons. Oh, they're taking a picture of themselves in front of the billboard that they're on.
God, these guys need to get a life.
I do think when us having another billboard, we did have to one up ourselves, or else it wasn't going to be worth doing.
We went with the kind of I would say kind of salesy, cheesy guys in suits style. So I have the old finger guns going. You're straightening your tie, and then in true Massenomics billboard fashion, we had to get some of our outstanding quotes on there.
Right.
And we have 4 quotes featured on this billboard. We're in our model shots to the side. The quotes are to the left. And the first quote says, "Could be worse," from @Mr.Backabs, which is hilarious too. That the fact that these Instagram handles are on here.
Who is the?
Because we had the real name and I already forgot again.
Yeah, and I know him from Instagram too.
I know his real. I'm gonna know his real name as soon as
Marshall
you say it.
Buckler.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yes. And then underneath it, we have the maybe the most classic Massenomics
It is the most classic quote.
quote of all time, and that's the. We had to leave the first part out just for room, but it's the "Nah, I'm good with the plain ones" from @03_OG.
Yeah.
You could say maybe a quote that propelled us into the next level.
The man that started the lift shorts revolution.
That lit the fire.
Yeah.
The next quote: "This is a podcast," from @R.Andrew.Baker.
Yep.
Very well said. And then the last quote on the billboard: "They talk funny," from the Prime Minister of Kansas.
Yes.
And then, in case people were curious, on the bottom of the billboard, it says the Massenomics podcast every Monday. And it looks pretty cool, Tanner.
Yeah, so a big difference about this billboard than the last one. Our faces are on it.
Our
enormous faces are on it.
I guess we were talking about a lot of ideas, and we're like, you know what? Maybe the only way to go bigger is for us to be on it. And it's
Right.
like, well, we don't
We
ever
can't be hanging out in Massenomics gear. That's almost
Yeah,
too
we
like.
don't want it to ever seem like, well, these guys, they
Are
were
they really trying
They were
to sell
really
us
looking
here?
for a way
Yeah.
to promote their business. And
Yeah.
they took a picture modeling their apparel. Like
Right.
that's like no, that's way too obvious. That's way
Yeah.
too lame. Like it's not exciting at all. Like
Right.
it seems serious. Like
It needs to be ridiculous.
it does. And so that's when we're like, no, let's get in suits because that makes no goddamn sense for us to be in suits at all for anything that we do.
Yeah.
So, like, this is the type of billboard you would, outside of the dumb ads that you would see for an insurance agent in
Right,
town, right?
right, yes.
Maybe a real
If
estate
the
agent.
quotes were something
Best
positive.
service
Yeah.
around. Like,
Right.
it would just work. Like,
Yeah.
that would, but that's not the case here. And
If
so
the
we,
quotes weren't, they talk funny.
yeah, so we talked through it. We took the pictures. I feel like we should almost just post the pictures of ourselves in our suits, Tanner, because
That's
those
true.
are probably meme worthy right there. Even
People would
somewhere
be
down the line,
People would have been happy to have those.
if not
Yeah.
now, somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
And we took it. We set up the little studio in here for photos, and they look just as good as any professional. I mean,
They do.
it's kind of what I do for a living, Tanner. Not photos, but
Right.
design, and I do some photography work too.
Right.
And they look. I would say they look as good as any paid photography.
They do.
That you
They-
could have
they,
got.
they absolutely
Tanner,
do.
your beard and everything, it's looking pretty spot on. I think
Yep.
you even said like, wow, I don't see myself from this angle too often.
It did look really well.
We
The
have
funniest
multiple.
thing is when we I didn't know the billboard was up yet. It went up earlier than we expected. So the first I saw from anything of it was you sending me a Snapchat of it, and I'm like, oh shit, it is there.
Yeah.
And then so I had to drive by it that day, just even though of course I believe you and know that it's there, I had to go look at it myself. And like I immediately, once it gets in range, I couldn't help but laugh. But then when we went to do a picture with it today, even though I'd already even seen it in person, I kind of pulled up into the parking lot in the parking space and kind of had driven by it, but really didn't look at it as I drove by. And then as I was sitting there in my car looking to see if you were there yet, then I'm like, oh, I got to look at it. And I looked at it and immediately just like
It
the
kinda-
nose breath thing.
Well,
like,
and it,
I
like-
just couldn't not do the nose breath. When
No matter what,
yeah.
it takes you back seeing your face on a billboard. I don't know what other
It
way
is
to
a
put
weird
Because
feeling.
that was, we were
Yes.
driving down the road and my wife goes, oh my God. And I'm like, what? And I look up and it's just me and you huge on this
Yeah.
billboard.
So did she see it before
Yeah,
you
she
saw
saw
it?
it before
Yeah.
me. And I'm like, oh my God. Yep, it
Yeah.
is up right there. And the funny part about that was when I was explaining the concept to my wife, she's like, are you sure you want to do that? Like,
yeah.
a lot of people are going to see that thing and they're not going to get it. And it's going to be really confusing. And it's like, that's the point.
That's what
That
is why if it wasn't like that, it would,
wouldn't do
then
it.
I would feel stupid.
Yeah,
I
then
mean,
I would feel
that's when I
stupid.
would feel dumb about it. Is
Yeah.
if people are like, oh yeah, look, they're trying to sell their thing. And it's like, because the thing is, and anyone that listens to this knows, the people of Aberdeen,
outside of a handful of
everyone
people.
that listens to the podcast is either like a friend of ours or comes to the gym or is a relative.
There's even a good
you know.
chance there's definitely some people that go to the gym that won't
Oh,
get it.
yeah, right. Yeah, if they don't listen to the podcast,
Yeah.
I know we've talked about this before. It's always a weird thing. There's people that come to the gym that
And
really
don't know of the rest of this.
right. Yeah,
This
yes.
doesn't exist. That's
Yes.
uncharted territory.
But like what you're saying, that is what makes it fun. Like I would feel dumb if it wasn't dumb. If it wasn't stupid, I'd be like, I do not want my face up there on that for just that thing. But because it is so dumb, that's why I'm like, haha.
Yeah, like we'll even put our faces on it. Like
And that's what I love is that people don't get it. That it's just like, what?
yeah.
And that's what I love about it.
Yeah, I mean that sums it up pretty good. And
And we use the exact same spot
we
specifically.
did just the same shot. It's like that is our
Yeah,
billboard.
we're battling now like the chiropractic
chiropractors
group
who
that-
also all wear suits in their picture
That's
too.
true.
But
That's
theirs
true.
they have sunglasses on, so they're a little more serious.
But are they doing finger guns?
They're
and
not doing
straightening
finger
their
guns.
tie?
Yeah. They don't have those poses down yet.
Right.
We come from a pretty serious posing background, so we do know how to do that
Yes.
part of it. But yeah, it is shocking seeing your head on a billboard, especially when you're not quite, because we weren't expecting it for another week here.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that-
So
it
that's
didn't
it was
spring
fun.
it on us early, yeah.
Fun little
The element of surprise.
I'm
The
like,
last time I saw a Massenomics billboard, I was coming home from the hospital with my newborn baby boy. This time, I got a 9-month-old baby boy in the back seat,
Yep.
and you're just minding your own business, and you get
then
slapped in the
bam.
face with this thing. It's just kind of funny how time changes.
So hopefully by now everyone's seen it and was able to get a good laugh out
Yeah,
of it.
if you haven't,
like we
just
did.
hop on our Instagram
Right.
and you'll find it. It's.
Will it be the last one we ever do? I would guess not.
I would like to think that it won't be.
I mean, I assume Road to 400. Now we have to figure out a way to. Once we hit 400, we have to figure out a way to 400 5-star podcast reviews. We got to one up ourselves again, which is going to be increasingly more difficult every time.
I mean, once we get to 400 podcast reviews, that's pretty serious. Like I could see it being a really serious billboard then. Like,
right.
Like, I mean, our faces looking directly at it, like we're on the poster of some action movie starring The Rock, you know?
Yeah.
All rugged and tough looking with some really serious lighting. I could see that billboard one day.
Yeah.
I mean, I might have just gave away the road to 400 right there.
Maybe that's be the road to 500. Just keep you on the edge of your seat for a while with that.
Yeah, we'll keep them guessing. But yeah, check that out. It's really cool and just funny to know that you can leverage a business that works off of Instagram and social media jokes to the point where it makes real life jokes that you have to pay a lot of money to bring them to life. Yeah, but are so totally worth it.
The billboard also was considerably more expensive. We talked about this. We had to pay much more
when
this,
a pandemic hits and no one wants to advertise, they almost give those things away. Now, when at least where we're at, people kind of consider it business as usual. Yeah, you pay market price for those.
That I don't know why it reminded me of it, but I got a lot of good feedback last week. A lot of people that appreciated the agronomy update that I gave.
You know
them.
what? Let's do that, Tanner.
Okay.
But first, let's get to a can here.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll get that on the other side of the can.
Yes, yes.
This is a what's in the can, Tanner.
All right.
So,
okay.
I'm going to need you to put your what's in the can hat on.
Get out of my billboard hat. Take my billboard hat off and put my what's in the can hat on.
Okay,
yeah.
Here we go.
Okay. Oh, it's a can.
Yep.
I can for sure tell it's a can. It smells good.
There is a scent there.
I'm feeling like an orange creamsicle flavor is what it's
okay.
hit me. I feel vanilla, creamy. Just want to make sure that I'm feeling orange. Orange creamsicle is what hit me, but I want to make sure I'm not just making up the orange part of it.
And that it's not, in fact, cucumber.
Right. Or cream soda. Because what if it's just cream soda and I'm just was making up the... Let me try again see if I can actually taste orange. I smell citrus. So I'm going to go... Would orange creamsicle be the name? Is that the name? Or like orange Julius? I'm just going to say... vanilla orange. That wouldn't sound good though, I don't think. So I'm going to say orange creamsicle.
Well, Tanner, for the second week in a row, you did at one point say the name.
Okay.
Orange vanilla.
Orange vanilla. Okay.
And I think this is a pretty good one.
Yeah. Orange vanilla.
Because I would 100% when I tasted this one, my brain said orange creamsicle, orange Julius. That is what this flavor is.
Yes.
And it
very
is
good.
Vanilla. It is good. I give this a 4.
This is a 4.
A 4 for sure for me.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying these this week.
This is good. I did pretty good on that one too.
You did. You went back for the citrus. You
and
said the
once
citrus is there.
I checked again, and with the smell, it was definitely there.
Yeah. You've been pretty good. The last week was the polar too. You've been pretty good on the polar flavors. I think they are a tad stronger than LaCroix.
It's a strong. Oh, this is a stronger flavor than LaCroix. I think almost without question. LaCroix, I think, at least more often than not, is the least flavorful of all sparkling waters. Do you think it's the least flavorful of all?
I'm trying to think of one that has
sparkling
less
water?
flavor, but they're on just like the line that they've set is like if you cross the line of less flavorful than us, you're have
just
flavor.
water.
Like
yeah,
you've lost. Like
yeah.
we beat you at your game.
Maybe that's how we need to break into the market. We do
Less flavorful flavored
we
water.
just put right flavors on the water, and they're all pure. None of them are flavored.
It'll all be just regular carbonated water. It'll just be different packaging.
Yeah.
It's a trick. I like that.
So it's only one product we have to actually even make, and it has no flavor added even.
It's
so
almost too easy.
Yeah.
Because I imagine they put a ton of money into research and development to get that low level of flavor just right,
that hint of a flavor. This is good though.
Yeah.
I'm impressed by that. You knocked that one out of the park.
I think Polar.
Do you remember what store you get these from then?
Kessler's.
Okay. Our local hometown grocer.
That is the one. That is the one. But Tanner, back to more serious business. Several people have reported that they are very appreciative of your market updates. And when we say market, we're talking the agricultural market,
egg economy,
and even the word egg is a little confusing for some people because we're not talking eggs like eggs that you eat. We're talking
maybe take
egg,
that for granted.
Agriculture.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't really prepare a segment this time, having thought about that.
Wow.
I guess it couples with weather, so maybe one thing to go along with that is the weather. Very nice today, and I think actually today may have been a high for
Like all-time high?
on all-time high.
That's
for
crazy
western
because
northeast
just
South
a couple
Dakota.
weeks ago we had all-time lows.
Yeah, because it was 60 some degrees today.
And
I think it hit.
zero wind.
I mean, it was the nicest day I've felt.
Would you say it's the nicest day of 2021?
Yeah.
Yes, hands down. Much nicer than it was like 50 below 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was really, really nice out today, though.
It was really nice.
I think we've made the comment it might be colder in the gym than it was outside.
Yeah, we got a noon lift in today, and the back side of the gym is always a little bit chillier than the front side.
Yeah,
and
definitely colder.
I'm pretty sure it was colder than it was outside. It was so nice. Even that we busted out the scooter today. I went for a scooter
Did you?
ride.
The scooter came out?
Yeah, the scooter
Okay.
came out. It was nice enough.
Are you going to be a regular scooter guy again now, or is that?
Well, yeah, the new garage is large enough. I'm going to be able to have like my motorcycle and my scooter in my garage. So I'll probably still won't ride them very often, but I'll be able to look at them as I drive away in my pickup. You know,
You can be like, hey, neighborhood, look,
This is
I'm
what I
kind of
could ride.
I'm kind of a bike guy.
yeah. Not only am I a record guy,
Kind of a motor guy.
now that it's nice enough for the weather's nice enough for me to have my windows open, they're gonna know that I'm a record guy.
Yeah.
And then
they'll hear that part.
Yeah.
They'll see this other
and
part.
then I'm just
though.
gonna roll my motorcycle into the driveway so they can see that I'm a motorcycle guy
Yeah,
too.
you got to put out the vibe.
Yeah.
Let the neighbors know what
Yes.
the business is. over there.
My son gets mad at me because he says I spend far more time wiping down my motorcycle than I ever do driving it.
Isn't
which is
that
true.
how it goes for
That
like,
is true.
at least 50% of people that own a motorcycle?
Yes, and he's always like, "Why are you doing that so much? It just gets covered in bugs every time you ride it." And I'm like, "Don't." Oh,
What
I just
do you
like
mean?
looking.
I've never
I
realized.
just
it.
like looking at it when
Yeah.
it's clean.
Yep, that's I've noticed several people in my neighborhood really like to hand wash their car. They have nice cars,
Yeah.
but they really like washing those things.
Yep. I haven't been doing that for quite some time. I just drive through the old car wash.
I gave my car. I never do the hand wash thing.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I do the wash your own car at
Right,
the bay,
right.
Because the machines are always like at
Yeah.
best.
Those
Kind of
the
okay.
wash your own. Then you're just like a race against.
Oh, it
time,
is.
Though you're like,
That's-
oh my god, this is racking up so
Yeah,
fast.
Once they finally at the
Yeah.
one here got the credit card thing in it, it was just like, okay, whatever. This will end up being what it is. And whenever it gets done, I'm like, really? That costs that much?
yeah.
This thing is making a lot of money on a minute basis.
Yes. So what I would say for the agronomy update, with the weather being as nice as it has been here, more people in western northeast South Dakota are getting antsier to start the spring planting season. It's going to come much earlier than normal. Before planting,
Barring any major
weather
events.
this is western northeast South Dakota. We don't know what's coming next, but if things keep on track with the way they are now, people will be spreading dry fertilizer very soon across their fields. And that, of course, being the step that's coming before planting, at least for corn more specifically. You fertilize much more for corn, requires much more nitrogen in the soil than like your soybeans would. So
Naturally.
you put down more fertilizer for your corn. People are going to be doing that now and leading into that planting season.
Wow.
That's what we're looking at right now.
I'm sure there's exciting things in the weeks ahead, Tanner.
That's
We're going to hear about it. We're just at the tip of the iceberg.
we're all going to get to hear about it.
Did all this talk of weather and the land around here reminded me of something that I saw you had the other day, and it was a key. And I think it said Aberdeen, and did it say?
That was real.
Okay, that was real.
That was real.
Okay, I thought maybe that was a joke thing.
That was a real thing. There's this great recommendation for everyone. I stumbled across. I don't use Facebook much, but
No one really should.
Right. I did come across this page, and there's I assume there's these for like every city in the country now, but it's called like, you're from Aberdeen if.
Oh yeah.
And like, this is some weird kind of page thing. It's not just like a normal page. It's some Must be something Facebook is doing where I wonder if they even just set these up for all, like every city above a certain population, and people just go
they
nuts
love
on
that.
this thing.
Yeah.
Like the amount, like they're in one day.
Well, 'cause it turns into a contest of like, I know more about my city than you do.
Well, and people post so much historical stuff. Like I just can't even believe how much people are in on this. And what happens to me, like all the posts have like hundreds and hundreds of comments.
Damn.
Not all of them, but a lot of them do.
Yeah.
And what I'll do, I can't help it. I'll go click on the comments to see what it is.
It's
And it's
the
all these
best to
people
read
that
them
are
because-
like 70, like talking about the 1940s. And I'm like, I just can't help them. They're like, did you know Irene?
Yeah.
And
Probably from a Facebook account that says Dawn and Jan, and then they signed their name at the end so you know
Yes.
what one was using the account.
And I just get sucked into reading these things about Western, Northeast, South Dakota. Anyways, and that's also now the only thing that Facebook shows me because I spent
'Cause
like
you looked at it a couple
day-
times,
Yeah, I
yeah.
looked at those comments a couple times, and I don't use Facebook for anything. So they're like, "Ooh, this guy's looking
This
at
is the
something."
only thing we can get it to suck him
Yep.
back in.
Yep. So it's all I see now, and I happened to open it up, and it was this key that said Aberdeen. In some weird set of directions.
It was like
that is not Western
it didn't make any
Northeast.
sense. It was like Western.
It's like the central Northwest South Dakota or something
was-
that is completely
yes,
wrong.
It was because if you actually read it out, it didn't put you in the right part of the state.
Right. And I actually should find it on here because so people were that's what they were discussing in the comments because everyone was like, what does that mean?
Who is the dumbass that made this
and
thing?
what they said was that at many considered Aberdeen, it was the gateway farther west.
to the west.
But I'm like,
The St.
wasn't
Louis of South Dakota.
well, but yeah, and that's basically what they were saying. But I'm like, wasn't every point eventually at one point in time that like at one point in time wasn't like just off the coast of like
somewhere
Maryland, like
in
just
Western
slightly
Virginia.
west. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, I'm like, yeah. Eventually, they got to Aberdeen, like South Dakota. They made it that far west, and then we were kind of the gateway. But then, like slightly after, wasn't it the
it's
Wyoming?
like a really
you know?
narrow snapshot in time
Right,
to have
But that was what people were justifying it as. But I just thought it was hilarious because of the weird directions they were using associated with Aberdeen.
Yeah.
And they were also using like 4 or 5 directions too. I'm like,
and no one thought twice of it. Like,
it just hit me now. You know what? I bet it was some hilarious group of people that had this ridiculous inside joke
yeah.
that they were all in on.
Let's make a key and make it look really old to confuse everyone for what direction, and they can argue about where they believe it's located. Some will say Northeast South Dakota. Some will say Western Northeast South Dakota.
Yes.
Some will say North Central.
Maybe in like 100 years from now, someone will stumble upon something from Massenomics or the Massenomics podcast, and they'll be like, "What did they mean, Western, Northeast, South Dakota?"
It didn't make any sense at all. We can only hope, Tanner. That would be the type of longevity that we would never expect.
What? Okay, so no next episode is ever guaranteed.
True.
Because there's, you never know.
Yeah.
But I was thinking of this today. So we have 3 more to go to hit 260, our 5-year anniversary. What, if you actually had to put a percentage on it that we will hit 5 years, what would be the percentage?
I want to say 100%, but I also feel like I'm jinxing myself now at this point, which I don't like
And
that.
so if you think about it, if you said 99%, that's like 1 in 100 chance that we wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So it's above 99%, right?
I would think.
But if you said 99.9, that's 1 in 1,000 chances that we wouldn't make it. That doesn't seem crazy.
No, that doesn't. Because we haven't even done that many
Right.
episodes in the first place.
Right. So like, do you think it's like around 99.9% chance that we'll hit the 5-year anniversary?
God, I hope so.
Yeah.
It would be really upsetting to not get there now. Not on time.
Yeah.
Because that means something not good has happened in one of our lives.
Right.
That's why I don't like to think about that part of it. Like the circumstances that would have to pop up for that to not happen are
That's true.
not ideal.
That's true. I think we'll get there then.
I hope so.
Yeah.
In the meantime, should we just keep reading ads though?
Let's just read ads from now until episode 260.
Here we go. This episode is brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. If you've been training without a coach and have been looking for a competitive edge, remember to check out hybridperformancemethod.com. Hybrid has 15 different strength and fitness programs covering everything from powerlifting and strongman to gymnastics and general fitness, all included in one training membership. That's not all. Hybrid also offers one-on-one personalized nutrition coaching that uses lifestyle habits and a flexible approach to shape your nutrition plan around your current lifestyle instead of turning your lifestyle upside down in order to support unsustainable habits that only work in the short run the way most programs do. If you're ready to take your training, nutrition, or both to the next level, use code MASS in all caps, that's MASS, capitalize every one of those for 5% off membership to all programs for the life of your membership. Today's show is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid-70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell, building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he'd ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com. Today's show is also brought to you by Lifting Large. Since 2004, Lifting Large has been providing lifters across the world with powerlifting gear from Titan Support Systems. Lifting Large has the largest in-stock supply on Titan wrist and knee wraps in the entire world. They are home of the Ground Lock Deadlift Slipper, and they are always in stock and always ready to ship and always ready to be featured in a meme.
I like that they shared one of the ones.
Austin Turner?
I think they shared one of his memes on their page. It's good stuff.
Was it the, why, yes, I do listen to the Massenomics podcast.
One of
One of the squares was the Ground Lock
Yeah,
Deadlift Slipper.
yes.
Yeah, that was really good. They also have ER competition combo racks in stock and ready to ship. They are the only powerlifting supplier with live chat support available during the weekdays, and you can get email replies to questions in hours, not days like some of the other guys. They now accept Amazon Pay and Stripe for a quick and simple checkout, and once your checkout is complete, most orders will ship fast with same-day shipping. Massenomics customers can use code MASS20, that's MASS20, to get 20% off Lifting Large branded product like a pair of Ground Lock Deadlift Slippers or that bomb-ass chalk bowl that we've seen pop up around.
Yep.
And also receive an additional 50 rewards points added to your Lifting Large account. Place your orders at liftinglarge.com, and you can follow them on Instagram at liftinglarge.com. That's at liftinglarge, DOTCOM. And last but not least, the Massenomics podcast is brought to you by the fine folks at SPUD Inc. and the Fat Tricep Strap. Going after that vascular forearm look.
Yes.
That's a rhetorical
Of course,
question, Tanner.
yes.
You were supposed to just think about
yes.
it. This strap is the thickest of the SPUD Inc. strap arsenal and will help you get the pump you're chasing. The Fat Tricep Strap is designed to build your forearms and make your everyday exercises like pull-ups, face pulls, and push-downs excruciating. And because it's built from a nearly indestructible nylon webbing, the strap will last a lot longer than your grip ever will. Check out the Fat Tricep Strap online at spud-inc-straps.com.
Thanks, sponsors.
Thank you to our sponsors.
Should we get our special guest for this episode, Mr. Chris Duffin, the mad
Let's
scientist,
do
on the
it.
phone? Okay, we're going to call him right now. He said he's ready, so
Oh, we don't want to keep him waiting.
no.
It's Chris.
Hey, Chris, you're on the Massenomics podcast with Tanner and Tommy. We're excited to have you on today.
Hey, Chris.
Excellent. Well, I'm not so excited to be on. I literally just 3 minutes ago found out there's some really great ice cream in my freezer. And I didn't know was there, and I could be eating that right now instead of talking to you guys. So just let you know what you're saying.
There's always multitasking. You've seen some of our memes before. I just wanted to give you a little heads up that we've been known to be a little silly at times. So we've got some, and you're a pretty intellectual guy, so we'll cover some of that stuff, but we're also going to have a little bit of a silly goose time. We've got some funny questions for you, so just want to make sure you're prepared for all that.
Sounds good to me, man.
Okay, great. Where to start? We've got a very long list of things to get to. The first one I wanted to maybe start with is right off the bat, a hard hitter. One I wondered is, what do you consider? Let me preface it with this: you've done a long list of accomplishments in your life, and specifically thinking about your inventions and your products that you've brought to market. It's a long and growing list. If you could pick one that you consider your magnum opus, which would you have to go with?
You just said accomplishments in general, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
It's definitely somehow convincing my wife that I was a good fit for her. So I don't know if you guys follow me or her on social media, but pretty amazing woman, drops me great food all the time. I don't know how I pulled that one off. So definitely my proudest accomplishment right there.
Okay, so now that you got your safe answer out of the way,
In case your wife is listening.
I am, as far as products go,
Yeah.
the transformer bar is definitely it. Like, I don't know that people fully grasp like just how versatile of a tool it is, and actually being able to manipulate the spinal mechanics and what that can accomplish throughout the body. But it's just crazy what we can do with being able to actually have the load always stay above the midfoot and really manipulate the spine around that. And when you're working with a vast level of athletes, which we do because we work with people well outside of powerlifting, and you're dealing with Major League Baseball and NBA players and all sorts of, people, it's just phenomenal. It's really cool. So what I'm proud of about it is there really was nothing like that at all in the industry. And so being able to make something that is truly completely different than what's out there is, I think that's cool.
That's interesting to me. I don't know what I would have guessed your answer was. I'm not sure if I would have known that's it, but that's just good. I'm just excited to hear that advice from the horse's mouth, because at Massenomics Gym, we've currently got Kabuki Power Bar. We've got the Duffalo Bar, of course.
Got the Shoulder Rock.
Actually, tomorrow, I think our new Kabuki Open Trap Bar shows up. So we're excited about that.
Nice.
So the kind of the next two big ones on the list that we've been trying to decide what's first is the Cadillac bar or the Transformer bar. And now I guess the
sales
answer is
pitch.
Yeah.
You got it right from the sales.
Well, unfortunately the lead time is pretty dang long on the Transformer bar, but we're bringing it down. I mean, I'll just touch base on that, really quickly. We outgrew all plating operations within basically the state of Oregon, and so we have had to start using facilities around the Northwest to keep up and work down our backlog, which takes a little bit when you're dealing with vendors that far away and getting them qualified and whatnot. But we've done that. So just good news for people that are buying our stuff or waiting on orders. We'll be making some huge progress. The Transformer bar, there's only one company that has tanks large enough to do that still in the Northwest. So that one we're working through, but we basically removed everything from that vendor except for the Transformer bar, so that we can speed up that as well.
So are they exceptionally busy right now because of other things that came up also in 2020? I mean, is that
not really. It's the growth of our company.
Okay.
We basically consumed all of the available capacity, and unfortunately, because of COVID, we didn't have, as things were ramping up, we couldn't be on site and in these facilities to get a feel for what was actually happening. So it came up and hit us, and then it's playing catch up from there, realizing what actually happened.
Okay. Well, and I know that you have maybe more so than many, you have a good concept of the entire process from engineering phase all the way through manufacturing, and you create things with your own hands, you weld and do that sort of thing. That stuff that you're outsourcing now, is it ever a thing that you could vertically integrate farther into your company, or is that
absolutely? So we are planning on that. This last year, it was I looked at a couple things. One is buying out one of the existing companies and saying no to all their other customers, but wasn't successful. In the parent company back in Chicago said, "Nah, we don't want to sell." And then we also quoted bringing in all the own lines. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff with environmental concerns, the EPA. You've got to have their buy off. You've got to be in the right area. So it's not like we can just say, "Oh, we've got some space in our building, let's do it here." So there's a lot of things that roll into that. And so went down the route of basically looking at all the other vendors throughout the Northwest, understanding what our capacity was. Now that we determined that, and making the call to continue to source that while allowing us to be able to build up our production and add new product SKUs. So we are going to bring that in-house, but probably not in 2021. So I'm focused on dropping some new things out there in the world that are going to shake people up.
So do we have any teasers about these new things? Any inside scoops?
I get in trouble for dropping. So when are you publishing the podcast?
Like a year.
When do we need to tell you in order for you to tell us stuff that you shouldn't be telling us?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So we are going to be dropping a new handheld weight that I'm pretty excited about. Anybody that follows my training knows I've been using this triple handle weight for the last few years.
Okay. Yep.
And there's a lot more that goes into it. So as to why I use that and how I use it in the system that makes that effective. So I'm going to drop a piece with that product release detailing the physics and how it operates and how you can actually manipulate the torque. Basically the force curve based on changes in the moment arm and torque on the applied joint. And it gets really freaking wild what you can do if you know what it does and how to play with it. And then we've got a really innovative piece of equipment that dropping very soon that probably falls outside the realm of where traditional strength athletes. So we're talking barbell sport, power lifters, Olympic lifters, strongmen, probably wouldn't be as much of an application. So this is something that is an incredible strength training tool, but it's more for runners, sprinters, jumpers, field athletes like football players, any really truly power-based athletes. So a lot of it's going to be in a lot of areas, but it's absolutely tremendous for, like I said, the power development, but also the requirements around tendon stiffness and the research that it shows around that and the impact that it has on tendon health. But it's going to be a really wild tool and really useful for those in the garage as well, because it's a single-use tool that you can almost do nearly everything on, but it's not going to replace, getting in a rack and walking out a squat. Mm-hmm. Well, we don't like that. Let's just say, well, not the walkout part, right? Well, no, I don't do that. So anyway, that's about probably the best teaser I'll drop, but that's some pretty solid information right there.
Okay. Well, that's cool. I'm interested.
It's going to be things that people don't expect. We'll put it that way.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool. That's always really cool. All of this equipment talk has actually reminded me of something, Tanner. This is one of your achievements. You were going pretty hard on the shoulder rock for a while.
Oh, that's true.
And I believe, wasn't there a time where you did a 45 on the shoulder rock?
I could do.
You did a 45-pound plate on it?
Yep. I can do. I think I could with a little practice again. I could get to the 45. Actually, what I was always going to do, I just kind of
not many people can do that.
Yeah,
very, very few.
And I did it pretty fluidly, and I could switch directions and go back the other way. And I was doing maybe up to 5 rotations per side and switching. But what I didn't do, and I just kind of had stopped because I don't know. I don't think I was utilizing the tool to maybe its original purpose. Like
Well,
I was
thought
doing
you were supposed to max out with the shoulder rock. I thought that was the point.
For the audience, I don't recommend it.
right. And
Let's just be clear.
Like
Don't go do that.
Right, I was far beyond what I had originally set out to use the shoulder rock for. You know, at that point I was.
I mean, if you can load weight on something, you might as well see
yes.
you can go with
but
it.
what I didn't do,
It's stupid human tricks. I get
Right,
it. I
right,
stupid
right,
human
right.
Tricks, but it's not a training modality. It's not a thing that you recommend. It's,
right.
you know.
But what I didn't do that I hadn't necessarily, I'm sure someone's done it, I just hadn't seen it yet, and I was going to progress to this, and I just kind of got out of it at the time, is do a calibrated red 25 kilo, you know, the 55-pound plate, and I never made it that far, so maybe that's a goal. Have you seen anyone do that before, Chris?
I have not, and I have not done that myself either. I've done the 45-pound plate, but man, that's scary. Wow, that would be. Well, now look what you did to me.
Well,
you know that is just has to happen now.
Right. And you know, part of the thing, you know, the weight of course is significant, but when you go to the 45, the diameter
size,
of the plate,
yeah.
The diameter and the balance. So there's also the clearing
back of the
legs on the swing.
Yeah.
But there's the balancing, just holding that. Like you've got to have that pattern just so tight. Even just holding it in position in front of you.
Right.
It's really hard versus stacking up a bunch of 10s or 225s. It's totally different. Yeah.
But boy, does it look cool.
And again, I do not recommend it to anyone.
Well, unless you want to look cool, then that's what you do.
Yeah, if you just want to be lame, just use it for its intended purposes. So.
Who wants strong, healthy, functional shoulders?
We're all about style over here.
Yes.
Maybe that's why I like you guys. It's all about style, right?
Yes. We had done a couple. I think we've done both a rookie card and a versus of you. I think in the rookie card, I always love that it's looking at those rookie cards of what people look like when we can dig up get pictures of those first meets, you know. And I think was yours was it not a full powerlifting meet to the first one you competed in?
No, it was just a bench and deadlift, and that was back in 2000. And then my first power meet was in 2005. That was my first. I did a USAPL meet.
Okay. I think when I remember looking up the info on that and looking back at some old photos and stuff, is there really old videos on your YouTube channel of like when you would have been very first started powerlifting? Would that be
not when I first started? It still would be years into.
Okay.
But I mean, I was the difference in age now. You know, we're talking was 2003. You know, 15 to 18 years ago. And it's still not even, you know, when I started. So I look like a kid.
Yeah. Yes.
Child.
So you've got the nickname, the Mad Scientist. Where did that nickname come from?
Stan Efforting. Okay. I showed up at his gym to help him with some, it was, Eric's photo. I'd just gotten done with shoulder surgery, and he was having trouble getting back to bench. And then Stan was experiencing a lot of back pain. He couldn't deadlift. And so I've known Stan for a number of years. I'm like, hey, let me come down. This is actually when I was planning on launching Kabuki strength. So I had the shoulder rock, and I flew in down there. And Stan, Stan is like, you put a camera on him, and he's great on camera. Like he's just, so jump out of the car, somebody has a camera, and Stan just starts going, like doing this intro on me. And I'm like, where the fuck has this come from? And he's like, this is the mad scientist of strength, Chris Duffin. And, he's just rolling. I'm like, whoa, okay, all right.
That is me. Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah. And it just stuck because it's like, oh, well, that does make sense. So that video of Stan, which was the first I had heard it, right, is walking into this parking lot of a gym in Las Vegas, Stan introing me to, I think, his cameraman, and that video went up on YouTube, and it was done deal after that.
That's a pretty cool story for a nickname.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'll take a nickname I stand up for, Dan.
Yeah,
Sure.
yes,
Absolutely.
He was our guest on last week's episode of our podcast, and he just calls us Bigs, which that's not all that cool because he calls everyone else Bigs. So.
And he calls everyone big. You know why, right?
He can't remember.
Right?
He doesn't remember the names. Isn't that it? Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah. He still calls me Big sometimes. Too. He'll show up, literally drives to my place in Portland, talking, "Hey, Biggs," and I'm like, "Gosh, Dan, you don't remember my name today."
Yes, that's great. So the mad scientist then, who is, and you're also, I think, worked in the aerospace industry or an engineer, but who is your favorite scientist if you had to pick one?
Oh my gosh.
You act like you haven't been asked this question like this week.
I have not been asked this question.
With every guest, we try to at least ask a few questions that we feel like they probably have never been asked before.
But I have decided that I believe in reincarnation.
Okay.
And the year Howard Hughes died, I believe is the year I was born.
Ooh.
Oh.
And I'm like, there's a crazy motherfucker. He was not a scientist, but he was an engineer.
Yeah.
And he lived his life in a really wild manner. I'm like, that would be, well, I definitely don't live up to him. That's for sure. Anyway, so if it was a reincarnation, it's a pretty failed one. Like, man, you did way better the first time around. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
You got some niche cult person in the lifting world versus
A guy that got Leonardo DiCaprio to play him in a movie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think that's a good answer, though, Howard Hughes.
I like that.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, well, it fits. It's like I said, it's the engineering side, but also just kind of the crazy, over the top, way of living and stuff like that I connect to, and the reason I felt my wife is the one that turned me on to Howard Hughes. She's a huge Howard Hughes fan, and she's like, we got to watch this stuff. And I didn't know a whole lot about him. I watched it. I'm like, man, I connect with that person.
Yeah.
So I'm not on that level, but
That's cool. So you started making plates this year then too, or of 2020. I don't know when exactly you came out with them, but a thing we always like to talk about is the 35-pound plate. It's always for a good.
The what?
The 35-pound plate. Oh yeah. The
I'm
what?
sorry.
Yeah.
It sounds cutting out. You keep dropping out something plate. I don't know.
If there was an option between 45 and a 25, would you feel like there's any use for it?
No. And this is not anything new. This isn't from you guys talking like.
Yeah.
People. I've had this thing against 35s for so long. I've never owned one. Well, I have, and I throw them away. But there was a stack of like 3 of them that we had under the water cooler for probably like 5 years. They held up the water cooler. They were painted yellow, and people would come into the gym and it'd be like, hush, hush, you got to warn the new member about Chris's eccentric behavior. And that would be one of them. Like, they're like, but I don't understand. Don't ask. There's no reason. Just, it's okay. And right before the closure, it was actually pretty funny. There was, we've got an open gym. People can come and check it out. And I'm sitting out there, I'm doing my thing, training, and there was these 3 kids that come in. And I say kids, but they're 18 to 21-ish, bro lifters. As in, they're over there maxing out on the bench, doing the classic, you got it, all you, bro, hitting this heavy single over and over again with like 185, right? With the other person rowing the weight up. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, I wanted to gouge my eyes out. So I'm walking around, and so some of our staff's walking around. They see it, of course, too, and they see me, and they're just like giving me the sideways look because they're knowing how much I hate this shit. And I'm like, I want to kick these people out of the gym. And then I'm sitting there. So there's a couple people, in earshot, and the kid walks over. He's like, hey man, we need to up the weight. I can't find any 35s in the gym. And somebody runs over like, no. And they're like, but I like, Duffin's gonna kill you. Oh no, they weren't. It wasn't actually me. Sorry, I was sitting there with my headphones in, like right across. And they were asking somebody else, and they were trying to get them quiet so that hopefully I wouldn't hear. I heard, but I pretended like I could, was not listening to anything they were saying.
Right.
But yeah, the 35s, they make no sense. Like if you want a smaller plate so that you're doing like, scroll crushers or something on the floor, like rolling ones where you need less bar space, right?
Right.
You go with a 25. If you want to do anything else that needs a full thing, you go with a 40. It makes no sense. It's nickels, dimes, chips, and quarters. There's no name, like alternative name for 35. So you can't use it. Like you can't use that. I need a quarter and a 35.
Well, and a 45 is just a plate. Like that's a plate.
Yeah. It's a wheel. It's
a wheel.
Nickels, dimes, chips, and wheels.
Yeah.
I've actually found out that in different regions of the U.S. they actually have different names. That people have called them. I wish I should probably catalog those.
Do you? If we're from Western, Northeast, South Dakota. If you need to, I don't know if you've covered that region yet.
If you need to get more in the dialect, we can be your guide for that region.
So yeah, when we decided to release the plates, they didn't even come up. I saw the line, and staff already known we're not doing 35s.
Nobody even wanted.
And then somebody in marketing's like, is this going to be weird? And I'm like, I don't fucking care. We're going to be the only company that doesn't sell 35s. Like, who cares? That it's odd, but it's right.
Yeah, I like there's an on Instagram. I think it's like an ad that actually pops that I see quite often, and it's of you chucking a plate across the gym, and you're like, "This is what I would do if it was a 35," or and then it's you throwing it across the gym.
We've got I think a couple different versions now, and I've got a few others planned. Because, we're going to get we might release a 35. Actually, two different versions.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, you said you weren't going to give us any surprise news, and here we are.
Yes.
Well, I mean, there's the heavy duty 35 and there's light duty 35, but
yes. There's about a 10-pound variance on those plates.
Yeah, a little bit of a window,
Yeah, a much larger tolerance on those than the traditional.
I probably shouldn't break. This is nobody listens to your podcast anyway. So
that's right.
Why am I worried about?
We haven't even told you. Right? We don't publish these.
Yeah, this is just for our personal collection.
So. April Fool's this year. We're releasing some new plates.
Okay. I love that. Yeah. That's good. That's good stuff. That is good.
I also want to go to. The foundry is just a few hours away. Obviously, we don't have a foundry in our facility,
right?
But it's right here in the Northwest, and which is really cool because they're they recycle in military armaments and other stuff there. And it's green, which is Portland, like us, right? Carbon neutral.
Yep.
I got to sell on something because at the end of the day, it's just a cheap cast plate. I mean, I'm not going to try to upsell anybody on something it's not. Like, it's a cast plate, and if you look around, you're probably going to be able to find some that are cheaper, right? There's no, not gonna, if you want to get ours, they're powder coated, they're green. We have them in stock and we can ship them. All right. So,
yep.
That's what it is. Right?
Yep.
And the price is reasonable. They're not jacked up. They're not nothing, whatever, but it's, we're not importing them from China. We're not going to be the lowest cost person around, but, I want to do a 35 video. I want to collect some 35s. I got to get some because I don't have any, and do a video tossing them in the furnace at the foundry.
Melting them down, turning them into 45s.
This is the good use. This is what we do at 35s.
Yeah.
We said ours are made from recycled steel.
Yeah.
This is what we mean.
It would be fun to get and I don't know how the process works, if like what the the recycling process actually works, but to literally melt them down and actually make 45s out of them would be pretty cool too.
No, that's just we'll toss it. We'll toss it in the furnace. Yeah.
That's funny.
I don't know. I find this stuff comedic. So
If you can't have some fun with some of that stuff, then what's the point?
Well, isn't that cool to be in this spot in the industry where I can actually take some weird eccentric view on how I feel about a useless 35-pound plate and actually just release a plate line with no 35s and freaking melt some 35s. Like,
I think that's the beauty of it. I think that
is my marketing campaign, by the way. It's not what we have and what we have in stock. It's the fact I don't have 35s.
Well, and, whether it's maybe not exactly this specific thing, but I think more people should be doing similar. I love that sort of thing. That's like the beauty of the whole process.
You gotta have fun with it. You gotta have fun with life, man. It's people take themselves too serious, especially in our sport too. Like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Yep, there's a lot of that.
We agree with that. We try to add a little.
I mean, we just put our faces on a billboard, we know what you're saying.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm proud of what I'm like. I am so proud of what I've accomplished. And I try to inspire people and have an impact on people's life and all this, but it's just lifting weights too. So you gotta like balance it. I'm not saying not be proud of it, not be like, but you're not some warrior going to battle. You're not changing the world. You're not like, that's it. That's my view.
Well, I did go to a meet one time, and this really old guy told me I have to go to war with the bar, though. So you might want to rethink that position. Yeah.
So yes, you do. When you walk up, when you walk up to that heavy set, when you step on the platform in the gym, you're going to get in that mental space. That's what you do to hit your peak performance and push yourself. Like, you're going to believe in this surreal version of yourself, and you're going to walk up and grip it and rip it, right?
Yep.
But that's Saturday.
Yeah.
Monday, you're back at work, and Monday night, the kid still shat all over itself and puked on your shoulder, and
it's all relative, and there's perspective.
Reality all comes back, right? So it's just like, set that aside. That's your time when you're in the gym, when you're doing your stuff, when you're competing. Use that motivation, use that mindset, but leave it there.
Yes. You're a Portland guy, Pacific Northwest. Have you by chance ever seen the television show Alone? It's a reality show where people are sent off to Vancouver Island, and they're dropped there alone, and essentially the premise is the last one to be able to make it the most number of days without needing help from anyone for anything wins.
I did watch one series, so it moves around though. It's different areas.
It's not up
in the wilds of Alaska or Canada, and
But they have done several seasons on Vancouver Island, and that's where it started. And it just kind of reminded me of you. I wonder how you thought you could fare on something like that.
That's a good question. If you ask my wife or even my ex-wife, they'll tell you not very well, because I am so high maintenance.
Okay.
Yes, I did grow up, in the wilderness, and no different types of mushrooms, and trapping rabbits and fishing, every day to, after catching the grasshoppers and feeding them on my hook. I grew up like that. I can start a fire and almost anything, but I've got to have like my supplements packed. I got to make sure I got my meals and my macros. And when I say supplements, if you're going to be gone for a little while, you got to plan all these other types of supplements too, to make sure, you don't crash. You don't there's a lot of maintenance, right?
Uh-huh.
You don't just walk around with hair as good as mine,
it's not an accident.
You got to get up and get prepared for the day. And so I'm considered quite high maintenance. So
okay. So you might not be the last.
I could probably pull it off if I really went in there. But man, watching what those people actually go through, you got to be the serious survivalist.
Ooh, yeah. Once they start hitting
for
that 30,
it is
40-day mark.
It's something else. Yeah.
And you got to be able to live off of next to no food. Like you have to be, like survive that kind of hunger pain that I'm like, if I don't eat one meal, I'm like, oh man, this is terrible. Like this is the end.
Exactly.
It's happening. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, everybody loves to think they have an ego and can do all sorts of stuff, but I got some different skills a lot of people don't have, but I would not make it on that show. Okay. Those people are tough.
Okay. So the Eagle and the Dragon, your book, I have not read it yet. I'm going to. I have not yet, but I want to. I do have one question, and this comes from me not having read it even. If you could transform into one of these two, which would you pick, an eagle or a dragon?
It's hard not to say dragon. I mean, seriously, it's a dragon.
Yeah,
it's like an even bigger eagle with scales
that breathes fire.
I mean, breathing fire, badass. I don't know. There's no way to just say no to that. By the way, I'll just pimp it out while I'm on here.
Yeah, that's what I. Yes, that's what I was.
The audio, is also available in audio format, and I actually read the book as well.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
It is. If you've got an Audible account, you obviously can do it with a free credit. If you don't, on my website, chrisduffin.com, my personal one, there's a link on there, and you can actually sign up and get my book and another book for free by starting an Audible account through that process, which is a pretty damn cool deal. And anyway, for your listeners that may not know who I am or what the background, it's a pretty wild story, but it is written in a manner that hopefully there's some great takeaways for you to think about your own life and have some introspection, and I kind of guide through that process. But the 30-second pitch, grew up in the wilderness, dealt with some crazy stuff, murders, drug running, serial killer, human trafficking, like some really whack shit. Spent some time with the state, got out of that, ended up putting myself, did well in school, living basically on nothing. Heating up jugs of water in the sun so you can bathe with it. Just really wild stuff. Mm-hmm. And then ended up taking custody of my 3 younger sisters while I put myself through college. So I raised the three of them through their teenage years while I worked on a dual engineering degree and MBA. Chased my career, became a corporate guy after a while. So I know that whole side of the world, led aerospace and automotive manufacturing companies, did turnarounds, all sorts of stuff. And so anyway, there's a lot that I can share from like this scope that I've had in my life. And then in 2015, decided that just wasn't enough. I wanted more out of life. I wanted to be passionate about every aspect in my life. And so I walked away from that secure, crazy career, sold my homes, cashed in my retirement, ran up every credit card that I had. I walked away from a marriage. I quit competitive powerlifting and decided to create a whole new life. And it's been amazing. So in the course of that, work with 90% of every professional sports team in North America, like let's say Major League Baseball, 2 teams we don't work with, any college you can think of, actors, famous stars, like all this sort of stuff. It's a globally recognized brand.
Yeah.
Got remarried, have an amazing wife, 3 kids, just a family life, and slowly trying to work myself back from financially from where I put myself doing what I did. But it doesn't matter because I'm like doing what I want to do in the world and helping people get out of pain and live a better quality of life, and trying to reach people, connect with them, and help them to move forward in some way or another. So that's my story. There's a whole lot to learn. Sorry for the long pitch, but
that's great.
If you haven't read it, you definitely should. It's a wild ride, entertaining.
Feel like I need to go read it right now.
Or have you read it to us.
Right, even better.
Exactly.
So what is it like reading an audiobook? Like, do you just like they're like, all right,
did that feel weird?
The studio's open, Chris. Go on in, and you just sit down and start reading, or is there someone you messed it up, do it again? Like,
Oh my! They told me not to because they're like unless you're trained, you're gonna suck. It's gonna be horrible.
Uh-huh.
And I definitely realized why they said that. Because normally you have to rent a studio, and about 45 minutes of reading your own stuff, you're just fumbling over. You're repeating the same sentence like 20 times, and I couldn't imagine sitting there for 6-8 hours every day. Like, oh my god, it'd be horrible.
Yeah.
So I did mine in bite-sized chunks because I got the studio in house. I got the media people. I got all that. So I just come and read a chapter, come back and read it again. And then as you're reading you still have to read it 50 million times, even though you wrote it.
Yeah. Right.
So it wasn't too bad, but it's a personal story. And I just couldn't get over the fact that it is that it's a personal story, and I should take the time to do the work and share it myself in my voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That is cool.
And I'm proud I did that.
Yeah, that's cool. You mentioned something when you were explaining that about all the sports teams and actors and everyone you've worked with, or that has utilized things from Kabuki and things that you've done. Is there any one person that sticks out to you the most that you saw them using a Kabuki piece of equipment that you were like, oh my god, look at that person using it. Yeah, like that person's using what we created.
When I went down to Big 5 and there was a 20-foot banner for Under Armour with Rock squatting on it with my transformer bar on his back.
Yeah.
That was pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
The Rock.
I feel
like that's like the pinnacle.
Yeah, that is.
When I watched those commercials run online, that was cool. When our new one came out and he called up and ordered 4 more and had them shipped to every single place and everywhere that he trains, I was like, that's pretty freaking cool, because this guy can have anything that he wants, and it's the only thing he'll squat on. And I'm like, that is pretty freaking badass.
So when that comes in, does it say,
by the way,
Dwayne
I just want you to
Johnson?
know. I just want you to know something here. The Rock has read my book.
Ah.
You guys think that you're better than The Rock?
No.
Not even for a second.
That's my takeaway. That's my takeaway.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get that Audible credit loaded tomorrow.
That by far is like the coolest thing for me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is.
I mean, who would you like? Most people would be like, yeah, if The Rock used my thing, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. What else do we need to say here?
Right. Chris, at each episode with each guest, we play a little game we like to call Overrated, Underrated. And we have a special set of topics that we've got for you. Each one is handpicked with us knowing that you're going to be our guest. And the biggest thing to remember is that you have your druthers. You can answer as little or elaborate as much as you'd like on each one. But you do have to come up with either a response of overrated or underrated for each one. So if you're ready to play, we've got some hard-hitting ones to come at you.
Ooh, I'm a little nervous here. But,
that's what most people say.
Perfectly normal.
That's what most people say. And just to add to that, what we also like to say is your entire performance on this podcast relies on your performance of overrated, underrated. So not to add more pressure.
I even see people pulling clips off of this and like holding it against me, and Reddit threads rolling. Like, can you believe Duffin said this? Like, he's trash. Let's get going.
We do like to pull things out of context and make just short clips of to make you sound worse than you are. So yeah, we do that.
Sounds fair enough.
Okay.
Well, actually, it doesn't sound fair, but I expect it of you. So,
Overrated or underrated LinkedIn?
Underrated. There's 2 platforms that I spend time on, Instagram and LinkedIn. And so many people, LinkedIn is a great resource for network of professional coaches. And so I found really good value with it.
I think that's probably the most underutilized of the major social networks.
It is. I got like over 20,000, connections on there.
Really? That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But no, they've got some great ways. I haven't played with article publishing and things like that. But it's a tool that I keep hearing from my my marketing folks. They're like, oh, don't waste your time on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that I get a really good response because it's professional people.
Right.
These are the ones that are actually going to be a client or buy some product. And it's also really good networking. Anyway, underrated.
Oh, that's cool. Overrated or underrated? SpaceX.
I will say overrated, but I will be held wrong here in future years when space travel becomes a thing and we're living on Mars. But that's all right. I'm a big Elon Musk fan, but I just don't see it right now.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
It's all over my head.
Yeah. But
Overrated.
Okay.
That's my call.
Okay.
It's yep.
I think we trust your opinion much more than than our own. So that's good. Okay.
I'm pulling it out of my ass. So. But if you want to trust it, go for it.
Okay. Overrated or underrated? The Portland.
By the way, if I pull it out of my ass, it's still better than your opinion. Anyway.
That's actually true. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. That's a good call. To stay on the aeronautics theme, overrated or underrated? The Portland airport carpet.
Oh man, overrated. I don't get it.
We were hoping you could explain
now,
it to us.
The Portland airport is freaking bomb, by the way. Like, I go in there, I get dropped off at the front. In 3 minutes and 45 seconds, I'm at my terminal. Like, it is freaking nuts. It's so fast, so efficient. But the carpet, why? They're my friends. I see them posting on Facebook pictures of their feet on this ugly ass carpet. Yeah.
Does the carpet?
We get it. You're from Portland. You're weird. Move on.
Kind of wacky.
Yeah. I like different things. Does it cover like the most of the airport, that carpet, or is it just restricted to a smaller area?
Nope, it's the whole airport.
Okay. It has made a name for itself, though.
I would say it's probably the most
How
famous
and
pieces of
why?
carpet.
It's ugly too. Is that, well, maybe that's why it's.
Maybe it's the
people like,
right
I don't
amount
know.
of ugly. That's got to be
Right.
the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Last one. This one is very important. Most serious of them all. Overrated or underrated? Voodoo donuts.
Freaking so overrated. It's ridiculous. Voodoo Donuts is trash. You can go down to Safeway and get the same freaking donuts, like probably better. I swear to God, I see people boarding planes with their freaking Voodoo Donuts like they got something special. And it's like, it's a regular freaking grocery store donut with some freaking Captain Crunch stuck on it. Like, give me a break. And then you got to wait in line for 45 minutes.
That's the part right there. is
yeah,
that
that's
line.
insane.
next to the homeless camp, like while you're being accosted, right? To get your Voodoo Donuts.
Got to work for it.
And there's actually so many better donut shops in Portland too. Like, and donuts. Well, here's the thing: donuts they're not that great to begin with.
I kind of tend to agree with that. Like if I'm spending
oh my God,
cap,
probably people in powerlifting are getting all pissed at me.
I don't know though.
You
Do
know,
people
gotta have-
really like donuts like that, or is that just a thing?
I think it's more
Well,
of like
see,
a meme to go off
they
about
got
how much you
donut-
love donuts.
You got donut socks, and you got like donut lifting parties, and who am I to call though? Whiskey and deadlifts. I guess I shouldn't be calling anybody out.
Yeah.
To me, it's not. It's 300 calories for a donut, and I would so much rather like use that in some other better tasting treat than a donut. Not worth it.
Yeah.
And if they are, Voodoo Donuts is all freaking hype.
Well, I think we got the inside scoop on Portland tourism.
If I catch you with Voodoo Donuts, I'm going to treat you like that bro lifter rowing somebody's up bench press and has to have his 35 so that he can have his 205, his plate, and he can have 205 on the bar with two plates, because it's got to be. I can't have a quarter and
a 10.
A wheel, a quarter, and a dime on there. No.
Are there people that come to your gym there and don't know who you are?
Yes.
That's a weird thing.
That is funny to think about.
like those guys, they might very well may have not known who you. Like I just am under the assumption they wouldn't, because that would be.
They
weird,
were just some local bro lifters, young, getting into training. I don't know. Yeah. No clue.
That's a fun thought, though, that people walk in and they see you lifting there and like, hey, man.
Do you ever think like one day they'll
where's
be
the
like,
35s?
remember what we did in his gym? Like, will it ever click?
I got a funny story. I know we're pushing late on time, but
no, that's all right.
It was one of the last meets that I did. And, when you meets, there's all these new people in the sport coming. They don't necessarily know who you are or whatever. And I'm sitting there in the lobby between, I think I'd squatted and benched, and, I did like 875 and around a 500 bench. And this guy's there. And I think he owned a CrossFit gym, right? He's like a couple years in, and he turns to me, he's like, man, how long have you been lifting? You're really strong. He's like, I'd like to get there. It'd probably take me a couple years, maybe 3 more years. It's like, how long you been lifting? I'm like, 25 years. It's like, oh man, 5 years. That's a long time. I said, yeah.
Yep, it is.
Yeah. Like 5 years.
Yeah. That's good. All right, Chris. Well, that covers a majority of what we wanted. One more chance, between it is everything funneled through your one main website then, or where would people catch book gear, everything?
I mean, come on. People are listening to this on their little phone, right?
Right.
And what you do is you go to the search engine and you type in Chris Duffin.
Yep.
That's like muffin, but there's a D first, right? And you type that in and I'll pop up. You type that into your social medias, I'll pop up. ChrisDuffin.com is you'll find, that's my personal website, but there's links to Build Fast Formula that is my supplementation, Barefoot Athletics, which is
we didn't even get to talk about the shoes. Yeah, we did.
Amazing minimalist shoes. We need to do another, foot fetish podcast.
Well, that's
sometime.
Tommy and I were talking about the shoes before we podcasted here. Even we were checking them out, and very affordable too. And
they're top notch. These are like premium shoes. They're made in North America at a really high end facility, and shipped out of my partners are in North Dakota, Fargo, by the way.
Oh, that's just down the road from us.
Speaking our language.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you ever,
is there any sort of storefront in Fargo or anything like that?
We talked about doing it, but they wanted to do it. And I'm like, you just want to do that to show off to your family,
Right.
It's Fargo. We don't need a storefront. But they did open a gym, and there's a warehouse, and you could pick up there if you wanted and meet them.
That's a necessary trip for us, probably then.
Tourist hotspot.
I would recommend they would love it. So anyway, Barefoot Athletics and Kabuki Strength are all on there, or you can just find all that stuff. Like I said, I'm not going to give you any freaking what are the screen names? I don't freaking know.
Yeah,
Chris Duffin, like Mike Muffin, but do a D.
Yeah,
you got it.
Awesome, Chris. Well, this is a blast. We were really excited to get you on here.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right, we'll do it again sometime so we can get more into the foot fetish side of it too.
All right, sounds good.
All right, thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, bye.
See ya.
Well, Tommy.
Cool beans.
He gets the beans.
Yeah, you were fast on the cool
I was
beans.
on the trigger.
Didn't even ask.
I had a feeling you were going to say something.
How did you know what I was going to say?
You had this look to you.
Yeah, Chris gets the cool beans.
Yeah, he gets the cool beans.
He's a guy that knows a thing or two about a thing or two.
He does, and it's pretty obvious once he starts talking.
Yeah. Another guy, much like many of the ones we've had on, or man or woman, I say guy, just guy means anyone when I say guy.
Yeah.
That we probably could do like 3 more podcasts in a row.
Pretty easily. Yeah, we specifically talked about the footwear thing and didn't even have a chance to really touch on that at all.
Right.
But we didn't even talk one bit about his lifting career. So there was a lot. There's a lot you could talk about.
Oh, that's true. Like one of the arguably the thing that he's most known for, and one of the top things.
We didn't touch on grand goals.
Yeah, right. Him squatting 1,000 pounds for reps or deadlifting 1,000 pounds for reps, or
But he's also probably talked about that 1,000 other places.
Well,
too,
and that's kind of my thought too, and
Yeah.
what we talk about going into it. It's like, yeah, we kind of know that stuff.
Yeah.
We've heard you
Yeah,
talk
we know
about
the
that.
answers
and-
there.
Yeah.
If you're listening, you probably know the answers there too.
Right. But not to discount it. It's very cool. You know,
Yes.
it's
Yeah,
very
oh,
impressive
absolutely.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's just, yeah, let's talk about something else.
Yep.
Like the book. Like him,
Yeah.
like him having to,
I didn't realize that it was on to me, that's really cool when a book's on Audible. Like to me, that's like, yep, that's not just like, oh yeah, we just ran a few copies off on a printer
Right,
here. Like,
right,
no,
right.
this is a legit book.
yeah. When are we going to come out with a book? Talk about the,
It's gonna be called Massenomics. Step 1, make stuff. Step 3, profit.
yes, yes. I think I've actually had this thought in my mind before. I'm not even going to spoil it on the podcast just in case we actually do it someday.
Okay.
So I'm not even going to say it right now.
Well, I get to find out.
I'll
after
tell
the
you about
podcast
it
ends.
after. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
It's another.
If someone wants to send me a
real
lot of money,
banger
then
idea.
I might pass
Yeah.
the knowledge on to
It's
you.
a real banger idea. Hell of an idea.
Are you gonna say we should start a book publishing company?
Yes. I
Okay.
didn't want to spoil
that's,
it, but
that's what I thought you were gonna say.
I did not want to spoil it. But he also really had a lot to say about 35s,
He did
which is
actually.
great. I like some of his plans he has coming up for those.
Yeah. Big things coming, you could say.
Yeah. How about I read a couple podcast reviews real
Oh.
quick? A couple of the old 5 stars, as I like to call them. Still working on catching up with these because there's a lot of them to catch up on. This one is 5 stars. Great podcast from Miss M. Junior Shipman III. I will never be convinced that sparkling water is good. Bum, bum, bum.
Was that the review?
Yeah, that was it.
my.
But it was 5
Wow.
stars. Yeah. Okay. Made it to 185. Started on episode 1 in April 2020, and I've made it to episode 185. The Massenomics team are the perfect bros to complement your stay-at-home quarantine lifting. No friend or gym buddies at home? Massenomics has it covered, providing all the miscellaneous strength, conversation, and episode segments your heart could desire. What's in the can? Who weighs more? Guess that powerlifter? Overrated, underrated? So many inside jokes for days. Yeah, buddy. I will catch up to the latest podcast sometime in 2021. Thanks for all the sweet content.
I just got to think of someone that's at 185. Like
Yeah.
the road that's in front of them, the
Yes.
things that will be discussed. There's a
You
lot.
don't
of-
even know.
There's a lot.
You
to
don't even
cover
know what
there.
you don't know. This next one is Best in Class Strength Podcast from BAGP19. Be sure to check out the highly accomplished podcast. JD Power and his mysterious associates have awarded Massenomics with the Best in Class Strength Award for 2020. The associates have said that they love what they're doing with the podcast and all the rest. Now they know how to get strong, stay strong, and how to use their strength. The coolest of beans can be found here. 5 out of 5. Cool beans.
Very cool beans.
Speaking of the podcast, you can become a supporting member, or as we also like to refer to it, a friend of the podcast, a dear, close, personal friend of the podcast.
Very easy to do. You just type in massenomics.com/join, pledge a certain amount of money to us, and the level of your friendship is determined by that
Yes.
amount of money you want to give
How
us.
close of a friend you want to be with us, and by us, I mean the podcast as a whole. And that big perk, though, not only does it include being friends with us as the podcast, you also become friends with the other friend circle
Yeah.
of the podcast.
It's like LinkedIn. It's like premium LinkedIn.
It is.
you get to pay to be a part
linked in with all
you get
the.
to pay to be a part of like-minded individuals
Yeah.
that all have, very high achieving goals.
It's our freemium content. I don't know what that means.
This
Is
is
that
the
a thing?
freemium
Yeah.
part. It's free, but you got to pay for the extra stuff.
Yeah, and that's where the emium comes in. The free's really not true.
Yeah. We're all about the emium over here.
So do sign up to become a supporting member. More of those coming in all the time. All the time more with the supporting members, which is just coolest of beans.
Yeah. That freemium model, Tanner.
Yes. Freemium is paying off. I don't think I know what freemium means.
It's
I don't think I'm using that. I don't know if I'm using that right. Is that
I'm pretty sure you got it right.
Okay, got it right. Otherwise, you can buy all our stuff. We dropped our couple new shirts last week. We had the drinking team tee and the Lift Neon tee.
Both
those sold
to rave reviews.
Yeah, we could actually.
Those shirts could have
Yeah.
their own road to 300 reviews. They ran over so well.
They did go great. They did go really great. And we got a lot of stuff in the works here. We're firing on all cylinders, getting more drops ready for
If
2021.
you have disposable income, we got places to dispose of it.
You will not have it for long.
That will
It
be
will
ours
be
soon.
I also complained about no Venn diagram memes.
Yeah.
Someone sent a Venn diagram
Did they?
meme. I just haven't. I'm actually going to tweak it. I'm going to use what they did. I'm just going to make it look a little better
Yeah.
because I did really like it. I just want to.
I'm excited for this.
Present it in a slightly better.
It's just asking you
better
shall
pack.
receive.
Yeah,
right, Tanner?
yeah. So keep the Venn diagram memes coming. Could you possibly have too many Venn diagram memes?
No.
No.
I mean, there's essentially 0 of them right now. So
Right. Probably the most important thing, I don't know why I saved it for the end, is please, for the love of God, do not buy our hats.
yeah,
My God,
I
don't buy
can't
our
believe you
hats.
waited
I
until
know.
an hour and 30 minutes in to
Yes.
get that out there, Tanner.
Yes,
but
hopefully
yeah.
everyone fast forwarded to the don't buy our hats segment of the
Yeah.
podcast. Buy everything else, just not our hats.
Yeah.
Please.
They're all
Please.
in stock, so let's keep it that way.
Yes. If we ever sell a hat again, it'll be too soon. And our sponsors. We'd like to hear from our sponsors one more time before I forget. Today's show is brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. They're your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching. Whether your goals are training related, nutrition, body composition related, or both, Hybrid has a program for you. With dedicated and experienced coaches in each strength and fitness discipline, you can rest assured that you're in the best hands possible. Use our discount code there. It's MASS, M-A-S-S, in all caps, and that'll save you 5% off any training or nutrition membership for the life of your membership at hybridperformancemethod.com. And today's episode is brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large has set a new standard for customer service within the strength world. They have live website chat support and speedy email responses. Lifting Large is home of the Ground Lock Deadlift Slipper, and they are always in stock and ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products by using our discount code there. It's MASS20 at checkout. Today's episode is also brought to you by SPUD Inc. The goal of SPUD Inc. Straps is to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when absolutely everything is on the line. Check them out online at spud-inc-straps.com. And this episode is brought to you by Texas Power Bars. I was just doing these in random order, so I try and just playing a game with
What
myself.
have I talked about?
In 1980, Buddy Cap set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was birthed. It was strong as a house with the best knurling, and it was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, Portland, and world powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more, visit them at texaspowerbars.com. Thank you, sponsors. Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can find me at Tanner_Bear, but nobody gives a crap about that. Just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.